I would describe Cliff Year as an opportunity to grow in your relationship with God and also grow as a person yourself, grow in confidence.
It includes Bible studies, lots of teaching on evangelism. We've gone into schools doing assemblies. We've been on a mission trip, just lots of different things.
I guess it's just a time to grow in your faith and learn more about mission and evangelism and have loads of different opportunities across the year.
And finally, you're engaging, you are going out into community and you're serving God in mission.
My favourite part about being on the site is just the scenery. The view out of my bedroom is beautiful, the views around here are gorgeous, and then the walk around the river is probably my favourite.
I would say the community, actually. I think the people that I met make the biggest difference because Cliff is quite a small place, so every person makes a difference. And it's just so lovely to be a part of that and to call this place your home because it really does become like home.
It's been really great to live on site with the Cliff Years. They're just incredible people and you create memories, and it's just been great to get to know them all.
I've developed some amazing friendships and it's just so lovely to do life together. We do loads of fun things together apart from all the Cliff Year stuff we do.
For me, the Cliff Trek was my highlight. This was during Holy Week, where we trekked around the Lancashire district. We went to various churches to hear about their stories and how they're serving the community.
One big thing I'll take away from this year, going into next year, is the confidence that Cliff Year has given me.
If you want to be equipped in how to share your faith, if you want an opportunity to serve God, and if you want to make new friends and engage in fellowship with a community of other Christians, I'd say the Cliff Year is for you.
To someone who's considering taking a gap year, I'd just say go for it. For me, it was a really important year and it's really helped me grow into the person that I am today and also grow massively in my relationship with Jesus, and it's just such a good opportunity.
We are excited to launch the Peak Wesley
again to Festival Live. Welcome to those who have tuned in. Good to see you with us. Welcome to those who are watching this a little bit later in the day and catching up. And welcome to those who are sat around just here in the Market Hub, which is where the Festival Live stage is set. But we're really here for you guys who are not on site at Festival to kind of catch a little bit of a glimpse of what's going on at Festival this year and who's with us on site at Festival. And hope you've been on this morning and joined in the live stream of our morning Bible study. There's music going on in the background here because the band are rehearsing for tonight, so you can hear that. You can enjoy the music as we talk. But we've got a number of guests to have a conversation with, to hear a little bit about. We're going to meet tonight's preacher as well and hear a little bit about Nathan's story. But I'm first of all joined by Reverend Andy File. Morning, Andy.
I think it's good afternoon, actually.
Oh, I haven't had lunch yet.
No,
It's
well.
not afternoon till I've had food. That's my theory.
fair enough, yeah.
It may tell me it's time on the clock, but I haven't had time to have a sandwich, so till I've had that, it's... Anyway, afternoon, Andy. How are
Good
you?
afternoon, Ash.
You're
Good.
kind of not new to Festival. You've been around Festival for many, many years.
Yeah, indeed.
But we've invited you to have a conversation today because the Festival has entered into a different relationship with the Notts and Derby district, which is you're chair of. So
Indeed.
talk me through that, what you see partnership like for us and Festival.
Thanks, Ash. I mean, I think partly it's rooted in my personal story with Cliff College. I've never been a student here.
There's
my
time.
life. There is time, I'm sure.
We
there
can
is.
offer you a course.
But Cliff College has a place in my heart. It was part of my faith journey, coming to faith in Christ. So that's an important background for me. So I've known about Cliff for a long time, been around the anniversary back in the day, Durwood Festival, all of that. But Festival lately, over the last couple of years, has been something which is fed in to the life of the wider church, Methodist and other, in people's faith journeys. It's an important place of touching base with God. So, as chair of the Nottingham and Derby district, I've been chair since September, I wanted to discover between us what's a good way of creating a good relationship to support one another.
Because we're not far away from you, really, are we? We're an hour from the district?
Well, I mean, Chatsworth House is lovely, isn't it? It's
It
just,
is?
just
5
down the
minutes?
road, just the other side of Chatsworth Grounds. You're in the Nottingham and Derby district.
Are we?
Yes.
So you're that
only
close?
a few miles away from the border of the
Okay,
district.
wow. Brilliant. So we are literally on the doorstep of the Notts and Derby district.
Yes.
And we're wanting as Festival to explore partnership and to kind of invest in communities around us and districts around us. Now, that partnership for us means you've been very generous to us as the Notts and Derby district, and we're always looking for financial partnerships. That's really important to us as Festival. You will have heard me talk many times about how we try and keep the costs of Festival down. We want folk to, it's more important for folk to be able to come and encounter Jesus on this site than the money part of that for us. And we've never charged anybody under the age of 18 to be with us, and this year all of our under 18s come free to Festival, and that's really important. So developing partnerships and sponsorship that enables that to happen. And this year, the Notts and Derby district have said, we'd love to support that, sponsor that. But we've tried to make that not just about a transaction of money from the Notts and Derby district into Festival, but to go, what does genuine partnership look like in this? How do we, as Festival, invest back into the district?
Actually, if I might just say a little bit about the financial blessing that I hope it's been. We are a church which belongs together. The Methodist Church talks about being in connection with one another. We're one church across the UK and around the world indeed, but across the UK. So what is ours is yours in the right kind of sense.
Yeah.
But what does good partnership look like? It looks like a blessing going back and forth when we've received a blessing, offering a blessing, and vice versa. When we felt God is at work in a particular way, how then do we work with that together? So what does that mean for us between district and college? Well, clearly, for instance, the college has students.
It does.
Students who are learning more about their walk with God, what that might mean for them going forward, needing experience of ministry in different ways. And literally, as we've said, we're on the doorstep. So what can we offer to the college by way of experience for students who need placements, who want real experience to put into practice what they're learning here in the way that God is working? So there's that kind of real interpersonal relationship that can develop.
I was blessed just before Christmas. I went to one of the churches in Melbourne Methodist Church in your district, and I took a couple of students with me who shared their testimony and their story, and it was a blessing to them, but it was a blessing to the church. And as a result of that, there are folk on site this weekend at Festival who, because of that interaction and that encounter, go, no, we want to go to Festival too. We want to experience Festival. So our hope is not that we just get people to Festival, but what Festival brings actually then has impact back into the district. As folk kind of have that vocational discernment, that missional discernment, that relationship with Jesus just kind of reignited again, and that gets taken back into the district. So that's really exciting.
And if I could just say back on that, there are folk, even in this tent, from the Nottingham and Derby district.
Wait.
Yeah, we are.
They're waving at me down here.
Well, waving doesn't work when you're over that side of the camera, but anyway,
they are
it's very
waving. I
nice.
can tell you they're waving.
The fact that the
They are really there.
experience of being here among others on a journey, when we're just across the way, on the doorstep, to come and receive from God in a different way when you're the ones who are often giving is really important. So Festival and Cliff College being here through the year can feed into that growth in spirituality, in discernment, in sharing faith in real and relevant ways.
And you and I have chatted a little bit about what that partnership could look like, and we've done some dreaming of what the impact can be, both on the college and on the district, with that interconnection of students and churches and placements. Can we support a youth event within the district and offer some resource, because we've got some resources, and your investment into Festival enables us to keep that priority and principle of investing in young people in a way that means we can say you can come, you don't need to pay to be here, and that your gift specifically enables us to do that. So Andy, thank you.
Warms our hearts.
Thank you so much. We look forward to developing partnership and seeing what God can do with that relationship.
Bless you. And if any of my colleagues are out there watching on here, just let's have conversations between those of us in senior leadership in the church as to what that might mean for others, as around the connection we support you as college and as the college supports us as connection. Ash, thanks.
And I'm
for the
conscious
time.
we border you, but we also border Manchester and Stockport.
Indeed.
We also border Chester and Stoke, Sheffield, and we're not far off some of the Yorks. So there's loads of places we would love to have relationship and partnership with. The rain is now coming down at Festival. It's always, put the coat on.
Showers
All
of
you need.
blessing.
Somebody said to me this weekend, there's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing.
Correct.
That's all we've got. So we're going to enjoy the rain or endure the rain. So thanks very much.
Bless
Thanks,
you,
Andy.
Ash.
God
Good
bless.
to-
Thank you.
Good to share.
Well, welcome back. Thank you, Andy, for that. I'm joined now by Melanie. Hi, Melanie.
Hello, Ashley.
Are you okay? Now, you've got to be really
Yes.
quick with me, haven't you? Because you're involved in a seminar at 1 o'clock.
Yes, doing a workshop at 1 o'clock.
What's the workshop?
On justice and peace. And
superb.
the relationship and our place in the climate movement.
One of the themes of our weekend is peace.
Yes.
Because we've talked about being rerouted, and the subtext of that is making peace on the journey as we travel to be peacemakers in that journey.
Absolutely, and we'll be looking at that journey on an individual basis, looking at Mark 12, verses 30 and 31.
So if you're on site and got nothing to do in the next about 20 minutes time, 1 o'clock, seminar panel, but just so those at home can get to know you a little bit, Melanie, just tell me a bit about you and your story and your background.
I'm a grassroots organizer within faith-based climate action.
Okay.
I haven't always been. About 5 years ago, I had very little to do with that. And actually, I wasn't really a very deep Christian at that stage.
Okay.
I was a lawyer. I would go to church on Sundays, go to work during the week, come home, go to church on Sundays. And then God put a protest, an Extinction Rebellion protest in my way, really unexpectedly, and kind of put in my heart and mind that that's where I belonged, and I've never looked back. So that's been my journey, and that's why this particular topic about journey and rerouting was so powerful for me.
Yeah, and it has been this weekend, just that kind of theme of God is the one who puts us in places or takes us out of a way. And for you, literally, it was putting a protest in your path that kind of changed your route and journey of life.
Changed my whole life.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear.
Yeah,
That's a great story. I love that story. You're one of the few people who thinks an Extinction Rebellion stopping you moving is a really good thing.
Well, it was a really powerful moment when God's creation called out to me. Creation is in crisis, it's in peril.
Yeah.
And it called out to me, and really I knew in my heart that that's what needed to be defended. We needed to explain our faith and our connection to God in terms of our responsibility to creation.
So Christian Climate Action, just tell us a bit about how they work, where you operate, what your kind of how you protest as Christian Climate Action.
We're a direct action movement, so by and large we don't do things like letters and petitions. But we campaign in all sorts of ways. So people think of Extinction Rebellion and indeed Christian Climate Action as the sort of people who get arrested all the time.
Yeah.
But actually there's a whole lot of things that this whole climate and environmental crisis needs of us. And I think that one of the things we do is build on people's gifts. And we find a place for everyone in that climate movement. We need absolutely everyone on board to face what is coming. And for God's justice across the world.
So, we've got folk at home tuning in. We've got folk sitting around, kind of listening while they eat sandwiches and escape from the rain. If I'm sat at home and I'm listening to you thinking, I don't know how to respond to this, what do I do? What can I do in the midst of this kind of real crisis in which I'm found?
And it is much more difficult if you're isolated. Suppose you're the only person in your church or the only person in your area. But there's a lot of stuff online, and Christian Climate Action is geographically so widespread that most of what we do is connect online. And there are lots of local things going on. But there are other environmental groups. You know, most religious groups, including the Methodists, have environmental groups, often within their parish. There's also a stall here from Green Christian, which is, in fact, I'm also their church's engagement officer. So I think there are lots of places you can go. You just need to look them up on the internet. Look up Christian Climate Action, look up Green Christian, find our resources.
What's your website?
It's christianclimateaction.org.
That's nice and easy.
And if you just Google Christian Climate Action, just Google Green Christian, they come up pretty much at the top of your list.
And if I was to just give you 20, 30 seconds with our kind of viewers who are online, what would you want to say to them right now?
I would really want to say to them that this crisis, if you're concerned about God's justice, this coming climate crisis will amplify all the other crises, the social justice work that you do. And so you should work with people who work on the climate crisis in the areas that you're in.
Final question, and this is kind of delving into a little bit into where we find ourselves currently as a nation heading towards a general election. Yeah. This is a moment to make a statement. I was listening to a particular politician, I won't say which party leader he was, that'd be unfair, who basically denied the climate crisis as fiction and fake. How do we, in terms of the general election that we face, how do we engage the climate journey within that kind of sense of the next 6 weeks? What should we be listening for from our politicians?
So there are lots of resources online. Green Christian, Operation Noah have a church's election pack. You can find it on their website, which will help you engage with this issue. JPIT have got lots of resources out. If you come from other faith traditions, or even if you don't, the Catholics have CAFOD have put out a very, very good election pack. There are lots of ways that you can engage our politicians. But just remember, the science is behind you. The testimony of people from what we call the Global South is behind you. This is the burning issue.
So do take note of that. It is an important moment in our nation's journey politically, and we want our politicians to hear and to respond. And so do look at the manifestos and what they say about climate and climate justice, and make your decisions based on what they say.
And use your vote wisely, and get other people to vote. So many people in the UK do not vote, and we are not only citizens of heaven, we are citizens of earth. We need to exercise our earthly citizenship.
Melanie, I need to let you go because you're running up to a panel. Thank you just for taking a bit of time, and thank you for being with us this weekend, and thank you for sharing in the Life of Festival this week.
Thank you for a very interesting conversation.
Thank you so much. We're kind of flying through some conversations. So we've met with Andy, we've met with Melanie. Now I've got Nathan with me here in the Festival Live studio. I say studio. It's kind of a corner with a mat and a thing behind me and a microphone. I make it sound really grand.
But it's good to be here anyway.
We're going to keep calling it a studio because I think it sounds good. I've got a camera and a microphone. What more do you need in a studio? And our aim is just to kind of connect with those who particularly can't be on site. There's lots of folk who would love to be here and can't be here, so have joined us on Festival Live. They've been in our morning Bible studies. They'll be listening into the celebration tonight. And I thought it'd just be good to have conversation with you because you're our preacher this evening, Nathan. So just tell us, if I'm to ask, who's Nathan? How do you respond to that?
Deep question.
Deep question.
I guess I would say that I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm an uncle, but I think, and also a dog dad. So
a dog dad?
Yeah, I've got a dog,
okay.
A 3-year-old Vizsla, keeps me up every morning. But yeah, I think most importantly, I'm a follower of Jesus, simple as.
Where's home for you?
So I'm in South London, on the border between Bromley and Lewisham. So yeah.
And it says, I've got a biog of you here. I've been reading these out of the last few days. It's great. This is what it tells me about you. Nathan is the JPIT Campaigns and Church Engagement Officer. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Nathan's a Baptist minister and is driven by a strong passion for community organising and equipping Christian communities to actively pursue justice. So JPIT, if folk don't know what JPIT is, just tell us what JPIT is.
Yeah, so JPIT is the Joint Public Issues Team. It is an ecumenical partnership between the Baptist, Methodist and URC, and associate members are Church of Scotland. So we work together to equip our member denominations and churches to engage and seek justice and peace, primarily through policy advocacy. So we help provide resources. We also, if you follow us online, you'll be familiar with our Stay and Pray, again, connecting our spirituality and our journey to seeking justice as well. And we've also, as you're aware, we're being rerouted as a country to have a general election in 6
Slightly
weeks.
surprisingly.
Yes, surprise, surprise. So we're providing resources around how Christians can engage with that as well.
Do you think Christians engaging with the general election is important?
Oh, absolutely. I think Melanie touched on it just a little while ago. I think actually expressing our understanding of what it means to be Christ followers through our citizenship is biblical. It's theologically sound. And I think certainly as Christians, we should be seeking to make an impact in our local communities and also holding our politicians accountable to doing the best that they can as a global nation.
And do you engage with Christians in politics, Christians in Parliament, and do you help resource them in their journey as well?
Well, certainly we engage with a variety of different stakeholders, and some of our interns have placements in with MPs, certainly keeping that connection in there as well, and also working with our member denominations to engage with asking parliamentary questions, whether it be on a particular issue around climate or poverty. So we certainly be engaging with our politicians and other organisations working around politics.
So the naive question is, I'm trying to word this in a way that kind of, you're not telling people how to vote, are you?
Oh, certainly not. No, certainly not. I think in many ways we're seeking to provide the resources for Christians to be able to engage within politics well, and I think that's really important. So, for example, for the general election this year, we produced an elections briefing, which is based on our 6 hopes. Again, I'd encourage you to visit our website, jpit.uk, where /elections, where you can check that out. And again, we focus on issues such as climate, poverty, and just again with some of the statistics around that, and also then some of the questions that you might want to be able to ask local MPs if they knock on your door. And we also have partnered with Churches Together in Britain and Ireland to provide a hustings pack. So if churches, local Christian communities want to facilitate hustings and want to know how to do that well, that's also a resource out there as well. But certainly not telling you how to vote. That would be against the Electoral Commission and Charity Commission as well.
Absolutely, but it is important we use our vote wisely and for the kingdom. So let's turn to tonight. You're preaching tonight. Just tell us a bit about where we're going to head tonight at the celebration.
Certainly. I think, in keeping with the theme Rerouted, I'm going to be taking us on a little bit of a journey through Matthew 26 in the verses following, just talking about and reflecting on Jesus' experience with the disciples in the Garden of Gethsemane, and what does solidarity mean as we seek to be Christ's followers, both being solidarity with Christ in his sufferings, but also being able to see those who are suffering in our world and how we are demonstrating and expressing our solidarity to to them as well. And I think there's just one thing, if I can sum up my talk in this, is that to follow Jesus is basically to accept and adopt a lifestyle being rerouted. The disciples are constantly having to learn how to submit to the guidance of their rabbi once he ascends, the leading of the Spirit. And it's just, again, being able to say that actually, as I seek to follow Jesus, I'm accepting the fact that it's not my will that is done, but it is his.
Superb. We're looking forward to tonight. So thank you so much for being with us today. I think you're doing a seminar this afternoon as well. Yeah. What's the seminar title?
So I'll be looking at resilience and solidarity in seeking climate action, climate activism. So yeah.
Great, Nathan. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to you tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Don't forget to tune in tonight at 7 o'clock for the evening celebration, and Nathan will be sharing with us. Don't go away. We have one more guest, and I think you're going to like this one. Welcome back. We've just got time for one more conversation. And hey, Bob, you're a friend of Festival, and great to have you back. You took a year off last year.
I did take a year off last year, yes, yeah. Sadly, I couldn't come.
No.
Very pleased to be back this year.
It is great to have you back on site. You're involved in all kinds of parts of our programme at different points, doing lots of things with kids and adults as well, and storytelling. My notes here tell me that you've written over 100 books. Is that true?
That is true, yes. Yeah.
That's a lot of books.
Yeah, I'm old. And
you've been going a long time.
I've been doing it a long time.
Doing it for a while.
You know, yeah.
100 books. Are they all for children? Are they all Bible stories? What kind of books are they?
There's a bunch of stuff. Most of them are Bible stories. Most of them are for children. But I've written several for adults. Some talking about how to tell Bible stories. Yeah. Some that are Bible retellings for adults. And then some stuff that's not biblical material at all. Yeah.
So we see you on platforms. We see you telling stories. But just tell us a bit about you, Bob. What's your story? What's the story of Bob Hartman? How do you end up at Festival telling stories?
Oh, well, I started out as a pastor initially. So I pastored a church in Leicestershire when I came out of seminary. So this is like 1980, all right? And I was here for 8 years. My kids were born here. Went back to the States after that for about 10 years. And had always loved the kind of storytelling side of pastoral ministry. You know, I just love to preach. And I love to retell God's stories. So my brother and I formed a storytelling troupe. And we visited churches, and we visited schools, and then I started writing and retelling the Bible stories then. So 88, 89, something like that. Yeah.
And how do you end up in the UK telling stories in the way that you're doing them now? How does that journey come about for you?
After about 10 years over there, I was writing for Lion Hudson, obviously a British publishing company. And in about 2000, they brought me over. They found me an agent to get me into schools and other situations. And so I just started promoting the books over here, and then it led from one festival to another. And yeah.
How long have you been coming to Cliff Festival?
Oh, my word. I was talking to the Play It By Ear guys, and they've been coming since 2015. And I know I was coming before they did. So it's got to be 10 years at least, maybe more than that.
What do you enjoy about Festival? So if somebody says to you, go to Cliff Festival, what's Cliff Festival? What's it all about? What do you enjoy about Festival, Bob?
Oh, man, it's the lovely family nature here. You know, you got this atmosphere of, you know, it doesn't take long at all to get to know people and feel like you belong. So you've got that. You've got everything Cliff has to offer, you know. I mean, all of your staff and, I mean, just people really pitching in. You know, I mean, really, really taking, you know, responsibility.
It is in their contract, but that's okay.
It's okay, that's fair enough. Okay. Plus, I mean, it's such a beautiful area.
It is.
I mean, you know, why would you go anywhere else this weekend? Don't say anything to Big Church Festival.
Why would you go anywhere else next year? Because Big Church Festival is not happening this same weekend.
No.
I understand why people will go to Big Church Festival.
Yes.
It's a great festival.
It is.
And we really love it. But next year, they've decided not to meet on this weekend. So
well done.
We think that's a great choice.
Oh, I think so too, honestly.
So everybody, all 30,000 that are at Big Church Day Out this year can come up to Festival.
Can come here.
We've got the
Absolutely.
space.
Indeed.
We can get another 25 in the tent.
Of course.
But we can get a bigger tent. All is good.
No, there's always room for a bigger tent.
No, we do.
Yes.
We will be doing clearly some marketing around that particular issue.
Absolutely,
You would be surprised if we didn't.
No, absolutely, yeah. That's the best thing. Yeah.
And then for you, after you leave here, what's next for you? What's your next?
I've got. I'm doing Leavers services at Gloucester Cathedral in the middle of June. And I'm doing some other sort of bits and pieces along the way, and I'm always writing. So, I've started writing for the Preach magazine, is it?
Yeah.
So I'm doing like a quarterly piece for them.
Good.
And so, there's lots of stuff to write.
What's the latest book you've written? What's the last one published?
Oh, there's a book coming out. Good Book Company's publishing it. And it's called Lily, the Lemur, and the Lamb King.
Pardon?
And Lily, the Lemur, and the Lamb King.
Okay.
And it's going to come out next year, along with another book they're doing about the kingdom of God. And actually, even Lily and the Lemur and the Lamb King is about a playground where the truths of the kingdom just kind of bubble up through the experience of these characters and their friends all together. So I'm very excited about it. I loved writing it, and we'll see what happens.
That's superb. Bob, thank you so much. Thanks for being on site. Thanks for telling stories.
It's my pleasure.
Our kids love you, and they love the stories.
Oh, and I love the response I get here. Honestly, I mean, from the oldest to the youngest, people just love it. They play along. Great place to be.
And I think we've got you telling a story tomorrow night.
Yes, apparently
in celebration.
So. Yes.
We've just thrown that on you. So
yes, indeed,
you've got 24 hours notice.
And you got
all good.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thanks,
so much.
guys, for being with us. Thanks for listening to some of the folk who've been on site with us. Do tune in later today. We've got celebration at 7 o'clock, and we'll be staying for Festival Live immediately post-celebration as well. Have a great afternoon. We'll try and keep you informed of all that's happening with pictures. Why not sign up to be on site with us next year? If you've never been on site, this is a great place to be. Come and join us at Festival. But we'll see you at 7 o'clock live. Thank you.
I would describe Cliff Year as an opportunity to grow in your relationship with God and also grow as a person yourself, grow in confidence.
It includes Bible studies, lots of teaching on evangelism. We've gone into schools doing assemblies. We've been on a mission trip, just lots of different things.
I guess it's just a time to grow in your faith and learn more about mission and evangelism and have loads of different opportunities across the year.
And finally, you're engaging. You are going out into community and you're serving God in mission.
My favourite part about being on the site is just the scenery. The view out of my bedroom is beautiful. The views around here are gorgeous, and then the walk around the river is probably my favourite.
I would say the community, actually. I think the people that I met make the biggest difference because Cliff is quite a small place, so every person makes a difference. And it's just so lovely to be a part of that and to call this place your home because it really does become like home.
It's been really great to live on site with